You already know, man. It's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Yes, you are. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. We're back at you again for another week, talking sports of all sorts for the next hour on WLGZ HD2, the Beat 105.5, based out of Rochester, New York, but we're all over the country via YouTube, Facebook, the whole 9 yards. Check us out each week on YouTube. Like us. Subscribe to us, check us out. You'll be able to check us out on those social media platforms. And we got a lot to talk about today. A divisional weekend is coming up, but we got to go back to that game last Sunday, Buffalo versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. What a contest that was a week ago. J-GILLZ, what's your comment on that Bills-Steelers game?
Oh, man. Well, first and foremost, good morning to the Beat family. Man, oh, man, what a great divisional round. Buffalo Bills, definitely the NFL saved you. Roger Goodell saved you. You know, about 15 fans got hit with hypothermia after the Miami Dolphins and Kansas City battled in that icy cold game, negative 30 degrees. But the Buffalo Bills, they got saved. The NFL, you know, they moved the game to Monday after the 2 feet of snow in the blizzard that hit Buffalo. But, you know, the Bills showed pure dominance over a pretty tough team, a tough-led team, a tough coach team in the Pittsburgh Steelers, a great defensive team. And they as much as they tried to battle back, the Bills still overcame adversity, still got it done. Josh Allen, no turnovers, huge statement game with him with that 52-yard touchdown run, just to get more toughness and grittiness to that offense. And ultimately, the Buffalo Bills did what they came to do, and that's to make it to the Super Bowl, and that's one game down, 2 more to go.
Exactly. 2 more to go. That's the way they got to look at. A lot of injuries. As you know, this takes place during this time of the year, and you got to be careful of the injuries and seeing what's going to take place. I thought the Bills played a physical game. I thought the Steelers, coached by Mike Tomlin, he had his team ready. They played hard. Very physical football on the line of scrimmage. I thought they did well protecting Mason Rudolph, but Mason Rudolph didn't seem to make the throws he needed to make at that time period. I thought he wasn't that good with it. I thought the running game with Najee Harris and Connor Warren, was very good for the Steelers, but Linville Joseph and Daquan Jones being in that middle really stuffed it up and really slowed the Steelers running game down. And I thought that was a key factor where they forced Rudolph to make plays and win the game for the Steelers. And it was there for a minute, 7-point game, close for a while. Khalil secured. I thought when Josh Allen took off and ran at 52 yards, some people were claiming that they thought he might have was good ready to slide, but then he came out of that head. I thought it looked like a head and shoulder fake, like maybe they're used to him going down, but he stayed upright and kept running and scored on a 52-yard touchdown run. I thought that was a major play in the game, and I did ask head coach Mike Tomlin about that after the game, and he was saying that it really was a they got to do better. They got to wrap up and make the tackle. He didn't want to hear about no slide or nothing. You got to wrap up and bring a guy down. You got to have a man that big. You got to have 2 or 3 guys tackling him to bring him to the ground. J-GILLZ.
Absolutely. I agree. Reminded me of Kenny Pickett a couple years ago when he did the fake slide and did the same move. But, you know, at the end of the day, Josh Allen is a leader of that team. He's tough. He's a tough kid. And, you know, when it comes to those elements, he's going to go out there and play football. And it's going to be a great showdown. Can't wait for this next round after the game that the Bills displayed. We got to give credit to Joe Brady in the game that he's called. Allowing Josh Allen to have a balanced offense, utilizing James Cook, utilizing Ty Johnson, and, Dalton Kincaid has been immersed as a huge piece over these last couple of weeks on this 6-game now winning streak, being able to utilize him and to see what he's been able to do. And I think he's going to play a huge part in this next week's, in tomorrow's game. When you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, indeed. I think a huge portion of the game, they're going to have to cover him. Nick Bolton, some of those linebackers going to have to make the plays on Dalton and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. They're going to have to make some plays on them because I think that's going to be the key with Gabe Davis out, Trent Sherfield, and especially Khalil Shakir is coming into his own as the guy, the go-to guy right now. And Shakir can do the wheel routes and get out of the backfield and come out and make some plays. And he's made them the Miami game, and he's made them last week. Definitely that finisher, the game finished off the Steelers with that last touchdown to make it 31-17 when he broke some tackles after he looks a lot more explosive after the catch. That's one thing I noticed about him. He's a lot more explosive than he was earlier in the season. He said that goes to his repetition of playing and being on the field now on a regular basis of how things are going. And
I believe we got a call on the line.
Alrighty. Yes, good morning.
Hold on. Not there.
Okay.
No, not there either. I don't know where he went. Oh, well.
All right.
Guess
Hopefully
he'll be back.
Yeah, Ronnie D, give a call back. I'll get you back on. In the meantime, let's hear what head coach Sean McDermott had to say about playing out in the cold and bringing the physicality in sub-zero weather. Head coach Sean McDermott, George Radley, Challenger Community News. How you doing this afternoon?
Pretty good, George. How are you today?
Great. A little cold, still cold, but my question for you is, how do you get the mindset of the guys to go out and play in this below zero type weather and still bring the physicality to the game?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I think when you got the right types of players and they know how hard you work all season to get to this point, cold is a secondary factor at that point, right? So it's not the main focus. It's not even kind of in our vision at that point. It's you prepare for it. Jeff Zerg, our equipment manager, and his staff do a great job of equipping us with everything we need to stay as warm as possible. But it's time to go out there and execute a job.
Yes, indeed. And last question: how would you rate your defensive front now that you have Daquan Jones back? And I see you brought Linville Joseph in. The first time you got a chance to see both of them on the field at the same time yesterday. How would you rate your defensive front's play yesterday?
Yeah, I thought there were some really good things in the run game. I really did. And the run game stood out the most. And then pass game wise, I thought we could have done a better job affecting the quarterback and being more coordinated with our rush and rush plan there. So there's things that we want back, that I want back. I got to do a better job putting them in position, and we'll work on that this week here.
All right, thank you, Coach, and good luck this coming on Sunday.
Okay, thank you, George.
Yes, indeed, and he does. That's one thing you got to give Sean McDermott. He gets these guys up each week, and for the last 5-6 weeks, these guys have been up playing. The defense have been strong. They've been bringing the physicality. That Eagle game, that Philadelphia Eagle game, where they really outplayed and out-hit the Philadelphia Eagles and did everything but win that football game. That definitely seemed to be the point in the season with that turned them around and started them on this winning streak. And they went to Kansas City the next week and pulled it out due to Ladarius Toney. And really, I noticed he hasn't played the last few weeks. They got him on the inactive list. So I wonder, they say, hey, man, they're getting sick of him making mistakes out there. They say he has an ankle injury. But, he hasn't played the last 2 or 3 weeks for the Kansas City Chiefs. And he may not play. Look like he's out already. He's one of the players they have listed as out already for the game in Buffalo. So they tired of his mental mistakes and not having him in there for the big game. And keep in mind, we're broadcasting live from the Rock Palm Brokers Studios. Get on over there to State Street and check out Rock Palm Brokers. Valentine's Day coming up real soon. Get your shopping done over there at 559 State Street. Stop on and see Sammy and the crew off there. Sammy and the whole crew over there. Friendly people, help you get whatever you need. They do have a layaway program. Get your significant other something nice over at Rock Palm Brokers, because we broadcasting live from the Rock Palm Brokers studios, Jalen. And I think the Bills got to keep that physicality up tomorrow.
Excuse me, George. I believe we got Ronnie D on the line. It's the B1055. You're live on the air.
I'm here. Great morning.
All right, Ronnie D, welcome. Can you give us a big-time Steeler fan, seem to be an insider on the Pittsburgh Steelers? Can you let us know what you felt happened in that game last week, the Bills versus Steelers?
Well, hey, we made a lot of mistakes, a lot of young mistakes, and we gave y'all a head start. 21-point head start.
Okay, 21-point head start. And how did you feel that Mason Rudolph played?
Mason Rudolph, he played his first playoff game. He didn't do too bad. That's just one mistake he made when he shot it. That interception in the end zone. I wish they was running the ball at that time, but that's a young mistake. He was just trying to do too much at that time, I believe.
Yes, he was. Yes, J-GILLZ, you have a question for him?
Absolutely, and this goes really after the game, but also for the season. You know, head coach Mike Tomlin, he's announced that he's coming back for his 18th season. I believe, you know, he's going to at least try and get 20 there at that great organization of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But he committed to Kenny Pickett already, saying that he's going to be the starter. How do you feel about Kenny Pickett being the starter after Mason Rudolph's good playoff game? And, of course, with free agency looming, guys like Russell Wilson, guys like a couple of guys in free agency, Carson Wentz, that you could possibly get, and, of course, the draft. How do you feel about Kenny Pickett as the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Oh, I feel that he still's not ready yet. And when they put him in the starting lineup a couple years ago, he wasn't ready then. And then when Mason came in, he showed him and Mitchell Trubisky how to stay in the pocket, let the play develop, and find an open receiver. That's what them two haven't learned yet.
That's a very.
Right now, I would never say who's going to be my starter. You're going to have to fight for it. Every man has to fight for this position, except T.J. Watt.
Exactly. That's a good point. That's a very good point right there. Mike Tomlin, what do you think of his comments after the game? And when Brooke DeLay from ESPN Pittsburgh wanted to get in that last question talk about next year, what do you think about Mike Tomlin leaving the podium?
Let me tell you, I would have did the same thing. After I lost like that, and you're going to ask me a question about my future? No, this is not the time for that. Now, we talking about the loss right now. You got any question about the loss? Ask that question. Don't ask about my future.
Absolutely.
And speaking of the future, what do you think the future for a guy like George Pickens? You know, we've seen time and time again, whether it's an Antonio Brown, a Chase Claypool, a George Pickens, it seems like these Pittsburgh receivers, diva receivers, just continuously get in the way. Juju Smith-Schuster. What do you think that relationship is going to be with this receiving core? And do you think that they'll ever mature?
That I don't know. But one thing about Mike Tomlin, he can find another receiver to replace you. We know that. So he need to sit down and talk to the young man and see how bad he really want to be a Steeler, and then go from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you definitely got some work to do in the offset season with some moves you have to make. Your offensive line seems to be playing better. The defense, Highsmith, I thought your offensive line and defensive line played very well down the stretch, especially in the last two games. And I think it's just that the quarterback position has to be upgraded. And do you think that you guys held on to the Big Ben Roethlisberger way too long? You should have got rid of him 5 years before he finally retired.
Definitely. That's why we all in this situation right now, because we could have had Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. It was right there, but still holding on to Ben because he don't want nobody to come in and challenge his position. We got stuck.
That's a good point. Good point. And who do you think? What's that?
That was the Rooney's call. That wasn't Mike Tomlin's call. Mike Tomlin would have let him go a long time ago. I believe that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it definitely came from upstairs, and their general manager also seemed to be a friend of Big Ben, and they all seem to be in cahoots with keeping him there as long as possible. And of the teams you have left, who you think gonna take it? Who you have for the Super Bowl this year, Ronnie?
I believe the Baltimore Ravens coming out of our division. They're gonna be in there, and I believe San Fran also.
All right.
The winner, or whoever plays the best that day. That's it.
That's it. All right. Well, Ryan D from Visions Barbershop over there on Thurston Road, and Mr. Steeler fan, the man, the insider for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thank you for coming on Real Deal Sports Show.
All All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Ronnie. Yes, sir.
Have,
All right.
have a great day. And yes, indeed. Keep in mind the show's brought to you by Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, award-winning Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency. If you need some auto, home, health, and life insurance, check her out. Miriam Rivera, home, health, and life insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give her a call, 585-360-0094. Miriam Rivera, auto, home, health, and life insurance. Check her out. She saved me and my family a heck of a lot of money. I guarantee you, with Progressive and some of the other, she's a farmer's insurance agent, but she also carries Progressive and some of the other insurances that may be able to save you and your family a hell of a lot of money. So check her out, Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency. And also another advertiser of ours, Challenger Community News, Western New York's largest weekly African-American newspaper, thechallengernews.com. Call 585-766-3590 for advertising. If you need articles, to send in articles and things, editorial at thechallengernews.com. EDITORIA, editorial at thechallengernews.com. Send your information into the Challenger. You got a lot of great news in the paper besides the Radman's article on the Bills win with some great pictures from Jerome Davis in there from the Bills win. We also talking about the city demands answers after a black man kicked out of an ambulance. Now that's a whole hell of that's some crazy. How did somebody get kicked out? I never heard nobody get kicked out of an ambulance, man. What kind of world we in today when somebody can actually get kicked out of an ambulance, man? It seems like the people in the ambulance should be able to handle and be in control of any situation that goes down inside the ambulance because they know everything they got right there, right, J-GILLZ?
Absolutely, and I just want to let the family know. The family knows that you have a legitimate lawsuit on your hands against the city of Rochester and these EMTs. He died later on, in I think a couple days later, right before or around Christmas, and it's just a tragedy. Julian Coleman was his name. He was a great guy, and it's just unfortunate for his loss. And you know what? As the city of Rochester, the EMTs, they got a lot of explaining to do. The same seems like this is similar to the Daniel Prude incident. What happened a couple years back, and it's just the city of Rochester has to get it together. Mayor Malik Evans has to get it together. This leadership team, the county has to get it together, and things need to change for sure. They absolutely do, because we can't have civilians dying in the hands of our EMTs.
Yeah, getting kicked out. I was like, wow, it doesn't even sound right, man. It doesn't even make sense. And then the guy keels over on the sidewalk after he gets out of the ambulance, and police is standing there, and everybody's standing around there looking around. And yeah, it's a bad look on the city of Rochester, bad look on the AMR, the ambulance company. So read about that in this week's Challenger Community News paper. The Health Matters, questions and answers. You got a whole bunch of good, healthy things to eat, things to put into your body. Healthy herbal teas. Choosing a nice variety can maintain good health with these herbal teas and everything. So check that out in the Challenger. And also check out the fine article by Darvin Adams on remembering Brother Simba. Brother Simba was a great photographer, legendary master photographer for Challenger Community News. He's known throughout the world, not only Rochester, but Rochester, Buffalo, New York City. Brother Simba Malik, an excellent article by writer Darvin Williams called Remembering Brother Simba. So if anybody knows Brother Simba, remember Brother Simba here in Rochester. Peace and love. He always greeted you with peace and love. He was always warm, beautiful, beautiful man. Peace and love. Rest in power, Brother Simba. Excellent article in this week's Challenger Community News. So continue to check out the Challenger as well for those various articles as we continue on talking right there. And also, let me get you one more advertiser, Image Printer, Marketing and Publishing Corporation. Call Manuel Floyd at 585-360-0132. Manuel has all the items that you need to get your thing going. Hey, it's always in time for if you need fans or things of that nature, check him out. Manuel Floyd from Image Printer, always a person to check out with those type of items to go. Yes, indeed. And as we continue on, what's your outlook for this week games with Buffalo? We got to start with Buffalo because we have some more guests coming on shortly. But J-GILLZ, Kansas City at Buffalo. What's your think? What's your first remarks on this contest?
First remarks is I think it's going to be a highlight reel. I think it's going to be the greatest game of the weekend, maybe even in these playoffs. It just seems like every time these two quarterbacks match up, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, we're in for a show. It's great on great. There's a lot of greatness involved, and we have to give the credit where it's due. People have their opinions on Josh Allen, his turnovers. However, he can play at an elite level in this league, and he's done it thus far in his career. We can pinpoint to many matchups. The same with Mahomes. Even after losing Tyreek Hill, losing the Juju Smith that he won a Super Bowl with, drop off from Travis Kelce, he's still able to just elevate his team, still top 10 in touchdowns this season, top 10 in QBR and completion percentage, even with the breadth of weapons that he's had this season. You have to give the man credit. So when you got these two Titans matching up, it's always going to be a great game. As it comes to the Buffalo Bills, it's going to be a very, very tough game, in my opinion, to do what they want to do. Over these last 6 weeks on these wins, they've been a physical team. They've been able to run the ball. They've been able to get it to their playmakers. But you got guys like, this is an upward of competition, if you ask me. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they were good, but this is about the toughest competition. And mind you, they've seen this team already. They've seen this team already. And if it weren't for a terrible call by the referees, the Buffalo Bills could have easily lost this game. But they've seen this team, so it's not like it's something they haven't seen. But when you got a guy like Chris Jones, when you got a guy like Will McDuffie, Spags over there, Spagnuolo, he's keen on taking out guys like Stephon Diggs, guys like James Cook. I think it's going to be very tough to run on this Kansas City Chiefs defense and to do the things that Joe Brady is going to want to do. So Josh Allen, I think, is going to have to put his cape on his back. And we'll just see how that ends up, because when he put that cape on, sometimes he turns back into Clark Clint. So, he's got to protect the ball. That's going to be the keys to the game. And try and get it to his playmakers. I think, like I said earlier in the first set, Dalton Kincaid is going to be a huge piece because I think he's going to be a mismatch against those Nick Boltons of the world. And I think that he just got Josh Allen's got to play precise football, and I think ultimately he can get the job done.
Oh, definitely can get the job done. You said a mouthful there. He can't turn the ball over. You can't have Josh Allen turn the football over in this big game. He got to play within himself, run the football with Tyrell Johnson in between the tackles, Latavius Murray, and also James Cook. I know they use Latavius Murray as a safety valve, where he'll chip the edge rusher, and then he'll go out, and if Allen doesn't see someone downfield, he can dump the ball off to Latavius Murray and pick up some quality yards. And that I like to see him do that. Check if he can't, don't force the ball. Check it down, get to Latavius Murray or James Cook out of the backfield. And also Terrell Johnson, all of them can catch. All of them can make plays with the football. They can block, pass protect. They can block. And I think that's why I didn't like the move of letting Leonard Fournette go, but you have so many injuries on defense, you're going to have to bring up other guys on the defensive side of the ball. You're going to have to bring other guys up like Jamarcus Ingram. I think Jamarcus Ingram might be brought up today. Keep an eye out on him being a guy that they may bring up off of their practice squad to fill one of those cornerback positions. You keep an eye out on him. Jamarcus Ingram, I think he can play corner, and he also can play the safety position, especially with Christian Benford being out. That's a big loss. Terrell, I don't see how Terrell Bernard is going to be out there and be able to play, but I don't know if they say it's an ankle. Let's see what he can do with that high ankle sprain or sprain of the ankle, whatever it is, because to get carted off in the type of pain he was in last week, you wouldn't have thought he wouldn't have had a chance at all of being able to come back the very next week. But these guys are tough. He's a guy that can help cover the middle of the field, help protect the middle of the field, and that's going to be a key with some of the guys that they bring up this coming Sunday. Watch it later today to see who they activate off the practice squad. You only can bring two guys up. I think Jamarcus Ingram will be one of them, and they may bring Isabella up, or they may bring somebody else up from that practice squad. But the defensive line is strong. You just got to strengthen the goal. And also Rasul Douglas. Rasul Douglas has to play. Hopefully we keep our fingers crossed that he's able to play and continue to, and his knee holds up and he's able to give us the quality football action that we're accustomed to seeing from Rasul Douglas. But J-GILLZ, we're gonna go down to Houston, Texas, because the surprising Houston Texans are at it again. I was shocked at how they handled the Cleveland. It's just the way they beat them. They beat them down, man. I was really shocked at that. Wasn't expecting anything like that. The beat reporter that covers AD from the Ad Max Corner. AD, welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing? Excuse my tardiness, guys. In fact, I'm not. The irony of this, guess where I'm at? I'm in Dallas this morning right now.
you in Dallas?
I'm in Dallas. Think about this now. Come on,
looks
George,
cold. Looks cold in Dallas, man.
Oh, hell it is. It's 22 degrees right now. I know that's a warming trend for Western New York, but but the fact of the matter, I'm in Dallas right now. And wait a minute, the Houston Texans are still playing, and the Dallas Cowboys. Oh well, come on. I digress. I'm not gonna hate on the Cowboy player.
Oh, that's cold. That's cold.
That's cold. They supposed to be still playing, and here it is, your upstart Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud, what makes him so cool as a cucumber, man? This guy seems to be cool under pressure. What's his makeup?
George. I mean, guys, that's an excellent question, and we're still trying to ascertain that. I mean, it seems like there's nothing rattles this kid, and I say that respectfully because he's only 22 years old. He's performing like a Brady-esque. He's performing like a Mahomes. He's actually getting it and performing and does it with such aplomb. You sort of go like, wait a minute, this is your first year in the National Football League, and he just sort of looks at it like, yeah, well, okay. I mean, and I'm not saying that as he treats it as in a disrespectful manner. He just treats it like, okay, been there and done that. And even from the start of training camp and talking to Bobby Slowick, and talking to D'Amico Ryans, and even all the way up until this point, everybody just keeps saying, I mean, even last week, D'Amico Ryans say, we go as far as D'Amico Ryans, I mean, as CJ Stroud would take us. I mean, this is the rookie head coach now. This is his first foray in leading a team. And everybody just putting it on this kid's shoulder, and his shoulders are strong enough, broad enough, that he's carrying the load, and he's carrying it with a lot of respect, admiration, and he's just tough as hell.
Absolutely. I love the kid because, over at Zeal Talk Upstate, where Faith and Sports connect, he's giving me a lot of content, and just the fact that in which he just, proclaims his faith, puts it on those broad shoulders as well. And DJ Baxman actually shared with us a clip of NBC. Could you believe this, AD? That he wanted to, as he always does, as you know, from covering the team and covering him this whole season, thank his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and then went on to his happiness of the win, and they edited that right out, man. They edited it right out, and I'm tired of these faith-based athletes, whether it's a Tua or a CJ Stroud, getting hated on. You know what I mean? By major media and not embraced by them standing firmly on what they believe in. To me, it's despicable.
Well, hey, man, here's the deal. And we saw the Elwin Henderson, the reporter. He's seen a lot on the corner, on the Ad Max corner. In fact, he'll probably be on this afternoon after the game once we do the recap. And that's one of the things he and I both have just remarked on. And he, in fact, a couple of weeks ago, he probably spent about 5 minutes post game talking about CJ in his faith and how he stands on his faith, and he's not ashamed of it. No. He stands full force, full front, and everything almost to the T. First thing he does is going to acknowledge his faith in Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Period. That's it. That's the way he's going to start. Now, if you have a problem with that, then that's on you. Okay? That's on you because, and I'm not gonna turn this into a church service,
Right.
but they say Scripture say if you won't acknowledge me in front of man, then I won't acknowledge you in front of my Father. So if you refuse to acknowledge him, if you refuse to acknowledge him down here, why should I acknowledge you when you get in front of the Father? So I think he's living out his testament. He's living out his testimony. So be that as it may, and I hope he continues to, because at this point, there needs to be somebody there needs to be folks that will stand up full force and just speak about their faith and the strength in their faith and move forward. Because let me tell you, everybody's not going to agree about it, and let's face it, each and every one of us, that's a personal thing with us. But until you have that personal relationship, because every time he says it, I just sort of I've started to always sort of bow my head real quick when he starts, because it's almost like, oh, it sounds like church getting ready to get started. You know how when them old Baptist churches when the deacons get down, open up church and start. I think about when I'm small, but.
He said he bowed his head when CJ started to speak. That's funny.
Yeah.
AD, what about the defense? How can the defense contain Lamar Jackson today?
I think, here's in my opinion, I think, Jonathan Grenard is back. I know he's still dealing with a high ankle sprain. He came back for a few snaps last week. They are going to have to be disciplined in their pass pursuit, in their rush lane. They're going to have to be very disciplined. I think the key, as far as I'm concerned, the D tackles are going to have to be able to crush the pocket from the inside. The outside rushes, those guys don't come upfield, but I think the D tackles are going to have to really be very disciplined and not get knocked out of their lanes and not get out of their lanes. I think they have to create in my opinion, in my humble opinion, they're going to create an inverted cup on the rush situation, and they're going to have to just almost sort of come upfield, but then crush the pocket from the inside and move it back up on Lamar Jackson. That's easier said than done, guys.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you right now. That's easier said than done. Probably probably about way Ed done last week again. When in the game Buffalo, what he did. I mean, Ed was having a hell of a game last week at that defensive tackle position. So
yes,
we got the you got Malik Collins, you got and the rest of the guys there. I think the defensive tackle is going to be the key as far as keeping Lamar Jackson contained today, because the edge rushers is going to come. Will Anderson, Grenard. I'm not sure Jerry, because Jerry Hughes had been out. He got hurt a couple of weeks ago. He's been out. I'm not sure. I got to go back and take a look at the injury report as far as what Jerry is concerned. But we got a few other guys. The thing about it, and I mentioned this, I think on one of the clips. This team epitomizes what that statement, next man up. Yes. Because trust me, it's been next man up with the Houston Texans. But you know what? They are so young with a nice mixture of seasoned veterans that they just move right along. And I think the stage has not been too big for them yet. The stage, they just sort of go like, oh, we're supposed to be here. They don't act like, oh, well, it's our first time. And like D'Amico Ryan say, it's still football. I don't care what you call it. We can call it divisional play round. Once they kick off, it's still football. And you still got to go play 4 quarters or 5 quarters or 6 quarters. Because if you go overtime now means you play till it's over with.
Exactly. What do you see as the final score in this game?
I know it was 25-9. I can see it 35-31.
Okay, yeah. I see it as an over game too. Yeah,
I see it as 30 because I mean I give the Baltimore Ravens their due respect, but I'm not afraid of them because I'm not playing against them. But I don't think the Texans are afraid. They aren't afraid of them. I can guarantee you this. This is not the team that was in Baltimore, and I was there for that first game when they played the Ravens. And CJ was sacked 5 times. I think it's going to be a totally different game, totally different outcome up at M&T Bank Stadium this afternoon. I think a lot of folks are going to be not necessarily mildly surprised. I think they might be wildly surprised at the outcome and the way this game's going to turn out, man.
I don't think it's going to be that surprising because when we look at Lamar Jackson, let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. He's had a great season thus far. He's going to be the MVP thus far. But over these last 4 playoff games, he's 1-3 as a starter in the playoffs. 13 points his offense has averaged over those 4 games in the playoffs. 13 points. And when y'all talk about an over game, Lamar Jackson in the playoffs is a totally different animal, and it's not a good one. It's not good at all. A QBR rating of 68.3. Not to mention his touchdown to turnover ratio, 4-7 over those 4 games. So Lamar's going to have to go out there and prove that he can beat this team. CJ Stroud in the playoffs has played amazing. You know, he tore up that Cleveland zone defense. And I have to see what Lamar's going to do in this playoffs. He hasn't done it in the past. I'm rooting for Lamar. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see him win, but he has not showed us that he can do that. He showed us he can stay healthy, but we have to see what he can do with this offense that's going to be without a Mark Andrews. You know, they did sign Dalvin Cook, but all their running backs have gone down this season. I have to see it to believe it, and I think it starts today. So Lamar Jackson is going to have to show us that he can go out there and beat CJ Stroud, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah. And AD, we're running out of time here, but I want to get in quickly. How can people, for the post game, how can people listen to your post game show?
Post game going to be on the AdMax Corner YouTube channel, the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, and also will be on my Facebook page. A Dolphins AD Moore Facebook page, they will be on those 3 channels coming out this afternoon. Probably between 7 and 8 Central Standard Time. You know, I realize the other game will be on, but you know what? I got obligations. My sponsors say I need to have this one, you know, regardless of the game. I got sponsors just like you do, George, that you got to sit there and they paying for their spots, and I got to be there. And so I'll probably be like you sitting in this nice humble surroundings like I'm sitting at now. And hopefully that CJ Stroud won't be like Dak Prescott last week and sitting up there, you know. I had to get that last shot in, guys. I'm sorry.
I know you did. I know you do. You and your dad. Yeah, I knew you had to get that in for those Cowboy fans. How about them Cowboys? Yes.
How about them Cowboys?
AD, we're gonna check you out tonight for your show. I look forward to checking out the post game and getting your recap. You and your crew always have an excellent analytical answers to what took place during the game, and look forward to it. And hopefully, might see you up in Buffalo next week, snowy Buffalo with Houston. If Houston pulls the upset and Buffalo wins, Houston will be coming our way.
Hey, George, that's my dilemma now, because I go like, okay, do I come up to Western New York in the torrential snowfall, or will I be in Kansas City? That's sort of where we at right now, man. And like I said, I love Western New York in September. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Right. I'm looking forward to Western this time of the year. I'm not.
Oh, who is? We ain't even used to him. We live right here, man. So we gotta take about 2-3 hours just to get to the damn stadium, man. So we're out there in the snow belt, man. Ski resort town out there, man. We going out there talking about football. But AD, thanks for coming on. We'll check you out tonight, and we'll be ready for the action to hear your analysis later on this evening. Thank you for coming on Real Deal Sports Show.
Appreciate it, guys. Hey, man, y'all have a good one, man. Go ahead and let's bring it home. I'll talk to you later, and thank you for the opportunity, gentlemen. And be blessed.
Be blessed. You too. Be blessed. Take care. That's AD from the AdMax Corner. That brother brings it, man. Look forward to seeing him in Vegas as well. We could talk and get on the air and do our thing. He knows what's going on. He's an expert analysis. And hey, like I said, we take you all across the country. Now we're going to Kansas City, Missouri, to another expert analysis coming up. Darren Smith, the sports host on ESPN Kansas City and Sports Radio 810 WHB and Twitter. Check him out at Darren_Smith WHB. He's also on Facebook as well. Welcome to the show, Darren. Good morning to you.
Good morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good. Good. I know. Can you tell us we'll get right to it. How can how can Kansas City win this game tomorrow evening?
Not line up all sides. It's about
Right.
it.
Number one, huh? Don't line up off sides. Exactly.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, they defensively they should be fine on that aspect. Really, it's really fundamental football for the Chiefs. Catch the football, don't hurt yourself with the offensive penalties, and again, don't line up all sides when it matters most.
Exactly. And how the young receivers? Rasheed Rice seems to be coming along. He really seems to be he done made himself stand out from the other young receivers. How's that receiving core coming along?
I mean, it's coming along. I mean, it seems like more of the Chiefs have. I mean, they found their quote unquote number one receiver. Basically, you're looking at an offense that, if it's going to be relied on or depend on heavily, it's going to be with Rasheed Rice, Travis Kelce, and Isaiah Pacheco. Mm-hmm. But you do still get contributions from a Justin Watson, a Noah Gray on the tight end side, MVS, with a catch here and a catch there, and then some other wide receivers that might play an important role. And then, of course, Clyde Edwards-Helaire has come on of lately as well in the backfield. So, but overall, like I said, if the team plays mistake-free football, it'll be a good ball game. I think, kind of like that was the thing with Josh Allen last week. He played one of his few clean games where he didn't have any interceptions or fumbles, and it paid off for him.
Absolutely. And staying with Rasheed Rice, he torched the Miami Dolphins, 12 targets, 8 catches, 130 yards and a touchdown, went phenomenal. When you look at this Bills defense, they're really banged up in the secondary, and it's going to be cold out there again, probably minus temperatures, but they do have a very strong front led by Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, Linval Joseph. What do you think? Do you think that Andy Reid and Mahomes will attack that secondary with the emergence of Rasheed Rice, or right now, are they still going to try and run the ball? But it's not really leading into their favor, with that banged up secondary. How do you think they'll approach the game offensively?
Honestly, Mahomes has accepted the fact that he's done over the last year or so, where they're going to take what the defense gives them. Obviously, the defense for the Bills are banged up all over. I know you all lost a running back last week. I know one of the players may still be in concussion protocol. You all have players on both sides of the football that's going to be out in the game, and still there's some going to be questionable or doubtful in the game Sunday evening. So again, it's a matter of what the defense shows them. If they go with 6 or 7 in the box, and they'll probably run the football. Or they'll probably throw the football. It just depends. I'm sorry, if they run 8 in the box, then obviously they'll pass the football. If they run 6 or 7 in the box, then they'll be looking to run the football. But again, they'll take what the defense gives them. If the key is going to be how they defend Travis Kelce. They try to double them, then that'll open up Rasheed or at least a running game in the screen game or so. And we just got basically they'll just sit back and see what they offer. For me, it's going to be the biggest key for me in Kansas City, whether or not they win or lose the game, is converting when they're in the red zone and getting 7 instead of 3.
Mm.
Why is that? Why have they been only able to get 3 recently? Seems like they're having trouble getting those touchdowns.
Man, I haven't quite figured that out. Obviously the field gets shorter, and you can defend a little bit better. But look, the one thing that Kansas City has been key over the last year and a half about is the fact that Harrison Butker has been money, and the fact that he's been able to knock down the field goals. Look, I get it. You take points whenever you can get it. But I do know, depending on the team that you match up against, you've got to be able to get the ball into the end zone. So look, I do expect them this weekend to actually punch the ball in, because they know they don't have a choice. You're playing a team that can score and put up points at any given time of the game. So if you're Kansas City, you're not going to want to take any chances on just trying to settle for 3 if you can avoid it.
Absolutely. And on the defensive side, your defense seems to be getting stronger. Chris Jones, of course, is the leader over there. But your linebackers in the secondary seems to been playing better and upgraded their style of play.
Well, yeah, I mean the defense has been good from the very first game this season, and that's another key to one of the reasons how Buffalo won that game last month is that we were without Nick Bolton, we were without Drew Tranquil, and we were also without our running back Isaiah Pacheco. So those three players will be playing and starting in the game on Sunday. So so the defense will be at full strength. Obviously, we've seen the good work on our corners with L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie. So I expect work to get done on Stephon Diggs. I know he claimed after the last game that they played that he was being doubled, and everyone saw that he wasn't being doubled at all. He was just he just had them hands put on him. So and look, obviously without Gabe Davis in this game for Buffalo, it would be a little bit obvious that you would think Josh Allen would get the ball to Stephon Diggs a little bit more. I know he got it to him about 7 times in the Pittsburgh game, but it didn't really, it wasn't really any real payoff in that game, unlike Dalton Kincaid. So the key is going to be, Justin Reed and, making sure that Dalton Kincaid, doesn't get by him and doesn't have any big plays like that.
Yes. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to the because Spags has done a great job over the years taking away Stephon Diggs, and when you look at Joe Brady and the offense that he's led, excuse me, Stephon Diggs hasn't really been a focal point. It's really been leaning on the running game, and of course Dalton Kincaid over the middle. And I think that's going to be a huge matchup. Just seeing if you guys can contain the Dalton Kincaid, and he's been playing like a young Travis Kelce out there. And you mentioned Travis Kelce and his ability to get open. What about the drops though? We talked about the receivers jumping the ball. I watched that game against Miami. He had some key drops that just didn't see in Travis Kelce. Like, is this what we're getting from him now? This is who he is?
No, I mean it just sometimes you just have those type of games. I don't expect that to happen in the game tomorrow. I think the stage is going to be big. And look, man, every now and then you have back in. I mean, I think he still has 7 catches in the game. I personally, wouldn't say he had a bad game or anything like that. It just happens. Now, I know it seems to be more frequent than other times because this year, I believe the Chiefs have led the league in drop passes. But look, he's a professional. He's been at this stage far too many times. I don't expect him to continue in Sunday's game at all.
How do you see this game playing out, Darren?
Well, look, I'll say this. It depends on who gets who wins the opening coin toss. If Kansas City wins, obviously they'll elect to defer. I would imagine Buffalo may as well. So I want to see what happens on the opening drive for both teams. If Kansas City can get Buffalo to go 3 and out, or at least get down the field and get in a punt of football, Kansas City, if they can come back and on their opening drive, with their first scripted 15 plays and get into the end zone. I like, well, look, I'm not going to shuck them and jive. I mean, I think Kansas City wins the game. I think the experience matters. I think the fact that they're healthy matters in this game. I think the defense will play a huge part in this game and contain Josh Allen when it comes to running. I think in Kansas City, they may be willing to give up a lot on the ground running the football, but I think as it relates to the passing game, I think they'll pretty much put a stifle on that, and it's going to be key for Kansas City again. Once again, make sure that they're converting on their drives and ended with touchdowns versus field goals, because I do see a scenario where Buffalo may try to do a little ball control with trying to run the football and keep Mahomes on the sideline. But overall, I think Kansas City wins a decent high-scoring game. I think it's the 31-24 type ball game for Kansas City.
All right. Yeah, I have it at 28-27 with the Buffalo, but you definitely, yeah, it's going to be a tight game. I know you'll be making your way up here to the snowy Western New York.
Yes,
Hopefully
sir.
it'll stop snowing by the time you get here. But
So,
definitely, how can people catch your post-game show after the game?
well, we'll be live. Myself, and my guy Steve Walls. We'll be live on the air on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages, so you can follow us. We'll bring you live coverage from the press conference. We'll bring you interviews with the players from the locker room, and then we'll also do a pregame and postgame show. We'll do a pregame probably from inside the press box, and postgame depending on how cold or snowy it is. We might do it from the field after the game. So it all just depends on how the weather plays in this, but we will be live covering the game from Highmark Stadium tomorrow.
All right, Darren. Thank you for taking time for coming on Real Deal Sports Show, and we'll see you tomorrow out there at Highmark Stadium.
And bring some of that Gates with you, man. Bring some of that Gates with you.
I'll be honest, because my flight's at 6 o'clock in the morning, the Gates wouldn't even make it. It wouldn't even make it overnight. So.
Wouldn't even make it for the flight.
Yeah. So look, y'all just make sure I got the buffalo wings ready for me.
Oh, they'll be ready for you. Oh, yeah, they'll definitely have the buffalo wings ready for you up there in the press box. So
I appreciate it, man. Y'all gentlemen, take care. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
All righty, take care. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
That was Darren Smith, host on ESPN Kansas City and Sports Radio 810 WHB. Check him out after the game and everything. And here we go, J-GILLZ. We get down. And remember, we salute Buffalo 10. We haven't forgot about you. We will never be forgotten. The Buffalo 10 would definitely never forget you. You always, each week, we remember you each week here on this show. And we dedicate this show to you each week. Quickly, as we're running out of time here, we definitely get to the picks. Houston, Baltimore, I like the over. If that Houston, Baltimore, if it's at 47-45, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, as AD mentioned earlier. I think that'll be an over. San Francisco, Green Bay, I think that's going to be another game that could be a over game as well. But I think San Francisco defense is going to slow Jordan Love and his crew down in that one. So I like the 49ers winning that, and I like the over as well. J-GILLZ.
I'm actually going to take the over for the Baltimore-Houston game. Lamar Jackson in that offense, they had a week off. I think it's going to take them a little bit of time to adjust. And I think that, C.J. Stroud, the defense, is going to pick up where they left off in regards to the Baltimore defense. I think it's going to be – this ain't the Cleveland Browns defense. This is the Baltimore defense. They can man up on you, and it's going to be a tough game. I'm taking the under on that one. I'm definitely going to go with the Baltimore Ravens winning it out.
Absolutely. And then Sunday, I like Detroit over Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay, that's going to be a close one, but I think Detroit will have enough to finish off Tampa Bay. And Baker Mayfield's, he's having a great season for Tampa Bay. I like that one. And then in the big daddy of them all, the marquee game tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. start time at Highmark Stadium. I like Buffalo 28-27. It's going to be a tight one. It's going to be a nail biter. It's going to be everything I think is going to come up to. Will Sean McDermott continue to be cool under pressure and make the right decisions? That's what I got to see. Will he make the right coaching decisions? Because this is a game where coaching comes into play, and you need your head coach making the right critical decisions. We don't need you taking two, 3 timeouts in a row, Coach McDermott. We need you to make sure your defense is set, make sure you're happy with what your play calls are, and let Joe Brady and them run that football. You got to keep Mahomes off the field as much as possible, running that football, taking what the defense gives you. Josh Allen always seem to play well against Kansas City. Kansas City and Miami seem to be the two teams that he seems to really show up for with some high quality play. So I think the Bills will be able to pull this one out at snowy Highmark Stadium tomorrow night, 28-27. Check our post game out too. We'll be on the field after the game, weather providing. We'll be with locker rooms, the whole 9 yards. If you want to see the Mike Tomlin interview after the game, check out Real Deal Sports Show. George Radney Facebook pages. You can see the Mike Tomlin interview and other interviews from last week's game. In closing, J-GILLZ, anything else?
Oh, man, absolutely. Just it's going to check us out. Be sure to continue to watch us every week right here on the Beat 105.5 where you're getting the realest and the dealers. Man, George, you produced a great show, heck of a show today. Great content as always. And we salute to you, George Radney.
Thank you so much. And I also want to salute Reverend Wilfred Moss. We're going to miss you. Great man. We're going to his services, funeral services later this morning at Memorial AME Zion Church. 10 a.m. is the wake. Noon is the service. Also, I just found out last night, a dear friend who I really enjoyed, who helped me out when I first came to Rochester, Sister Esther Manhertz, made her transition recently, and they had her services yesterday. Just found out about it late last night.
Manhertz for the tight end for the Broncos?
No. Esther, a woman here in Rochester, New York. Esther Manhertz, back from the 90s. Large family here in Rochester, New York. When I was at United Way of Greater Rochester, she gave me some good lessons to learn and good feedback. Very strong Black woman here in Rochester, New York. And she definitely, her, Carolyn, Scott Blunt, they all made Rochester a much better place to live. Rest in power, all of y'all who made your transitions. Carolyn Scott Blunt and Esther Manhertz and Wilfred Moss, rest in power. Backspin.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I know I didn't want to leave enough time for those Cowboys, man. I think
they don't need no time. They don't need no time. They don't need no time. You heard? They don't need no time. And I don't want to give them no time. They don't deserve no time.
Baxter, how you feel about McCarthy retaining this position?
I'm sick about it. That's how I feel. I'm sick about it. I don't know why Jerry needs to go, man. It's just that simple. It's that simple. We're not going to get back to the Super Bowl until Jerry Jones is no longer in control of the Dallas Cowboys.
Several people have been saying that. Several people have been saying that all week. I've been hearing that.
When you're bigger than a team, that's a problem. You know what I mean? That's a problem. When you're the biggest star on your team and you're the owner of the team, that's a problem. So, hey, it is what it is. I'm sick about it. I'm in turmoil. I turned my phone on. I put my phone on do not disturb for 2 days. So, it's a sore subject with me, man. It's a sore subject.
I'm right there with you, man. My Dolphins, the way we looked against Kansas City, I didn't even want to bring it up with Darren on the line.
I don't blame you, brother. I don't blame you, man. Only thing that was good about it is that Pittsburgh lost. I was happy about that. And I was happy that Philly lost. Yeah. Now I need San Fran to lose. If San Fran loses, that the universe aligned, and we all sitting at home watching the Super Bowl together. So those, hey, I just need one more to complete my vision.
There you go.
Detroit would be a great Super Bowl. 2 teams never won it. That'd be amazing.
Word. So I'm looking forward to that. And Usher's halftime show. That too.
There you go.
We gotta go, guys. Gotta get these bills paid. But great show once again. Real Deal Sports Show. Rad Man and J-GILLZ Fanatic is out there somewhere, I'm sure, living his best life. But y'all looking forward to chopping it up with you guys again next week, man. Real Deal Sports Show. Y'all have a good weekend.
You too. Take care and subscribe. Like us on YouTube. Subscribe to the show. You can catch it at any time at your leisure. Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. It's the B1055, the Back in Time. Make sure it's on deck. Keep it locked right here.